Welcome to Innovate Marketing Daily, where we bring you the latest news and happenings in the world of branding, marketing, and business growth. Brought to you by MyPodcast.Media and Birdwell Solutions. And now your host, Benny Pekala.
I'm Benny from Birdwell Solutions, where we partner with large companies to build products that leverage emerging technology. Now let's dive in. Grubhub and Kiwibot partnered to enable robot delivery on college campuses. All right, so let's break it down. On December 8th, 2022, Grubhub, one of the largest food ordering and delivery platforms, marketplaces in the United States, and Kiwibot, which is a last mile robotic delivery company, essentially you order food and they have robots deliver it, super cool, announced that they're going to partner to provide robot delivery services on college campuses across the United States. Specifically, what they're doing here is they're enabling Grubhub users to purchase food that will be delivered with Kiwibot directly on the Grubhub app. So it makes it a lot easier than having to go to separate sites and potentially a lot more volume. It makes it easier for college students to order delivery. They did this in order to better serve college campuses that have been asking for Grubhub to get more involved with how their students can order and get food delivered. I picked this story because in my college experience at UW-Madison, also had robots that delivered food. And I thought it was the coolest thing. But I always looked into it and I kind of asked those questions about why did they do this? How did they do this? What value was this bringing? And clearly they're doing it because the college campuses have been asking. And while there are robot delivery platforms, they've been asking large marketplaces like Grubhub that can make it even easier by bringing on more partners, more food locations, and more ways to order. This matters because it shows commercial grade robots being adopted more mainstream. It shows large companies that are not only bringing this and making this possible, but it shows college campuses across the United States asking for it. So we brainstorm a lot about how robots will enter our day-to-day life, like thinking forward to the future of the Jetsons. This is an example. This is an example about how, I didn't get exact numbers, but hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of college students will be able to order from their phone and have a robot drop off their food. Super futuristic, cool stuff. Now, I want to break this down kind of from a tech company standpoint. So as someone who advises tech companies, it's kind of two things that I see here. One is first what I mentioned, it's the commercial viability of robots. It's finding specific situations where robots actually can operate at a high level of quality. So on college campuses, these college campuses are relatively small and static. So it's achievable for a robot to know all the streets, know all the locations, to be able to map that. It gets much more difficult at, say, a city level, a small city, or a large city. It's a lot more moving pieces. So it says, hey, as a tech company, if we're in robotics, considering robotics, how do we find these isolated environments, such as college campuses, where robots can learn all the training data that they need to provide a really good customer experience? This also shows me something that I typically advise, which is a company that wants to engage in emerging technology using a partnership to do that. Right? So alternatively, Grubhub could have chosen to develop their own robots. And I'm sure they would have done a great job. But doing that would have meant developing intellectual property, research and development. It would have come at a high cost to them. And that intellectual property might not be central to what's driving growth within Grubhub and what's going to enable them to continue to be market dominant. So this is an example of a large company that's entering an emerging technology field, such as robots, with a partnership that is strategic, that enables them to almost plug and play this well-functioning system while not having to divert a lot of resources to research and development that might not have a long-term impact. So I think that's really interesting. And I advise other companies to think about that as they're looking at emerging technology and how they might be able to offer that to their customers. So if you have customers asking for this, instead of just assuming, oh, well, I've got to build it myself in order to be able to offer it, think, oh, wait a minute. maybe I can partner with a company that has this capability, and together we can say yes to that customer demand. So I think that's really fascinating. Key metrics to look for, of course, let's look at the volume of sales done by delivery robots. That's probably the value that college campuses and Kiwi are looking for. They're looking to see, does adding this Grubhub in-app ordering and the Grubhub network enable more meals to be delivered? Let's see. Let's also watch, because I mentioned the isolated college markets. Right now that this is being really tested across the country, and colleges are not small, right? Colleges are big. But let's watch and see, do any small cities pick up this technology, right? Do any larger systems that might be kind of one notch bigger than a college campus, do we see them entering the market? Or vice versa, maybe it's a smaller system, but it's more distributed, right? Maybe it's a network of care providers or people that are on a job site, right? But we're still seeing these robots that are being designed for this college campus use case entering more parts of the market. Let's watch and see that. And of course, as always, with something that's consumer facing, I'm always curious to see the user reviews. I know when I used robot delivery, there were sometimes some issues, right? Sometimes the food would show up cold because the robot would take a long time to get there. This was in Wisconsin, and that would happen in the winter, although it could happen other times of year. But let's see what the user reviews are, right? Do users really start to do this? Does this enter kind of the buying behavior of a user? Or does it kind of stay on the side of novelty and nice to haves? Let's watch. So, as always, I touched on some of the insights that any business owner can watch out for, such as, hey, how does this apply to me adopting an emerging technology to serve customer demands? And to, hey, what does this mean for robots within large companies, even large communities, large organizations? How can you maybe look at this and say, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can reach out to Kiwibot, or I can reach out to a partner that could help me to make this more appealing to my users, to bring food in a way that's perhaps cost effective, to look for ways to integrate commercially available robots. So thank you so much for taking your time to listen with us today. As always, if your business is launching a new tech product, is forming a partnership with an emerging tech company, and wants some advice, wants a team to work closely with you, let me know. I would love to help. So have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Innovate Marketing Daily, where we bring you the latest news and what's happening in the world of marketing and branding and business growth. On behalf of everyone at MyPodcast.Media and Birdwell Solutions, we'd like to thank you for joining us and invite you to join us Tuesdays through Fridays every week. Find us online at MyPodcast.Media for all of your podcast production needs. And for all of your Web3 development needs, visit birdwellsolutions.com.